Fratelli Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. Fratelli Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast.
Benvenuti in the Italian Rugby Podcast. Welcome everyone to a new episode, first episode of the URC review of the week. Mike, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. How you doing? You right?
All good. Today a little bit different setup for everyone. I start wearing my jumper, a nice jumper, as you can see, a nice one.
Yes. Get in touch, guys, if you want one. They're limited edition. There's only a few, but if you want one, let us know.
Yeah,
sell it to you guys for a good price.
Good to have. And today we're gonna talk about all Italian rugby as usual. We're gonna go through Benetton Treviso game in Galway against Connacht, and then we're gonna move to the Zebre. So the bitter at the beginning, the sweet
so.
stuff at the end for this. We wanna end it up in a positive way, but we don't panic about this. And of course, we should talk about the Italian Premiership because this was a big weekend for us. I don't know how many times we had 5 Italian players in the field fighting each other. Fischetti, Todaro, Zambonin, Vincent and Varney all together in the same week. We should go through stats and check back in the days maybe. I don't know.
Even think back then. Never really.
Maybe some, I don't know, maybe some Nieto, some Castro Giovanni,
Bortolami, maybe Ongaro.
Yeah, we should look like that because in France probably there's been a couple of them. If we think about the two Bergamascos and Paris together, and maybe when Ramiro Pets used to play in Perpignan, maybe a young Allan when he came during James Cook era and stuff. So let's see, but let's start with this because this was the best. Elmo, buongiorno, benvenuto, buon pomeriggio, welcome this afternoon. I know it's a different time, not the usual time, but we are fighting to find a good schedule this week because we are busy, as you can see. Mike is at work. I just finished to do a couple of stuff. And
sorry to interrupt. We had an ongoing joke, me, Otto, and a few of the other boys, where Phantom thought I was retired. Phantom, surprise, I'm not retired.
Yes, you're quite
7 or 8 weeks. 7 or 8 weeks we had him on now. It's retired. Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
So of course the Italian Premiership, Mike, was amazing. Italy scored 4 tries, we can say.
Yeah.
So 33, but we should take 20 points off for Italy in this game. So 13 plus 20. A threesome, Mike.
Yeah, the line share is ours.
Yeah. 4 good spaghetti meatballs over there in this game. The most important thing, just to be quick on this, Varney, another great match, is the second match where he's really crisp passes and really good on this. And seems like Exeter fits really well for him. And then, of course, Mike, we should talk about Todaro a few minutes. We spoke about him for a long time. We check on the under-20s games, but he scored twice as Vincent, which is nothing new, let's say, with Vincent. But a debutant scoring 2 tries, well, that's something.
Oh, for sure. And also, I wanted to point out, I don't think there was anyone that scored a hat-trick this opening match. So I think actually there's 2 Italians as joint top try scorers for the season already as well. So just to add an extra layer.
And we've seen scoring also Pagelo, so always good. We saw the Mori Bayonne winning with a drop goal against Toulon, where we've seen playing together Garbissima, non breaks, like Simone said in our chat, like I never expected maybe years ago, now something to happen like this. And this happens, so fantastic stuff. Elmo here saying a couple of points. Then the country where I live is a Bitcoin factory here, Bulgaria. So this is fun about it. what's happening here. But Mike, let's dig into the URC, because this weekend we were waiting. We wait for months to start, and it was a really good first. Let's say first round. We've seen Stormers crushing Leinster. We saw other big games. Scarlets fighting against Munster winning that game. Dragons putting a lot of points anyway, then losing against a strong Ulster. But let's dig into this first match for Kitty McCree as a head coach. The new and old Benetton, we should say, against, of course, Prendergast. Prendergast, one of the players, but a different setup also in what Connacht can give with the new coach. So,
Yeah.
what your thoughts on this game?
So I got to be honest. I stopped watching at halftime, and I had to watch the second half before we jumped on this call. I was getting a bit frustrated, not at the players, not at the referee. It was what I expected last week. After we spoke, you asked me, what do I expect? I expect a lot of missed passes, drop balls. It's the opening game of the season. That for me is what I expected. What I didn't expect is the stuff that Benetton didn't do in terms of like slowing the ball down, using the nous. Like I don't know what Connacht's ruck speed was in that first half, but I reckon 70% under 3 seconds, maybe more, right? Where they were just constantly like recycling and getting quick ball. That for me, I found a little bit frustrating. And listen, it's not the players' fault. Like Stuart Lancaster's an exceptional coach, but that's one thing. The second half, I was actually quite happy with. I was happy. Menoncello got more involved, ball in hand, did some good defensive tackles as well. Managed to get a little bit more out wide. They managed to get to Liner involved more, which you can see that he's definitely going to be used more and more this season. Little things that I can see what they're doing, and that excites me. So overall, I'm really like, I'm not happy because of the score, but as happy as I could be, if that makes sense.
Like, and we're gonna change for me. The word is no panic, because we are just at the beginning of something new. This is the first real challenge for Benetton they had to face, and to connect with what you said. You spoke about rack speed, and of course, if we think about the first try they scored, the work made by Stuart Lancaster with the team around the breakdown, the way they were tackling the tackler, that was fantastic from there, because the supporting players, they were doing a massive job to create these quick balls. And in that try, you can see Benetton tried to stay on their feet only with the tackler, which is something a little bit different we see this year already. But not enough, because the speed was so strong. The way they were eating the player that was tackling the Connacht one ball carrier, it was fantastic from them. In the first half, in the area between outside the 22 and between 22 and 22, where you have to create the gap, the numbers, you have to number there. We had a little bit of struggle with Treviso, because they were not able to be dominant so many times we see trying to play even more in their own 22 and their own half, but there was enough because they had to kick after that. So that was of course something that to be honest, to rewash, to understand the details into this situation, why we were not that strong. Spoken about this, please.
So I was just going to say, I 100% agree with what you're saying with the inability to break down. One thing that I do think that is important, Nemer, when he plays, is often deployed as like a ball carrier. I wonder how much preparation they had where he was expected to take the ball up prior to getting injured. So it's one of those where I'm interested to, obviously, just to be a fly in the wall. I'd love to ask that question, because we know Nemer is great ball in hand, and we know that he's used a lot. And I wonder if that affected much,
Man, that sucks, that the injury in the second minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Just there, he was trying to slow down a ball, stayed there. So hopefully it's going to be something, a quick recovery. Didn't seem like it, huh?
No,
But,
look bad. No.
but that looks bad, and it sucks because then we've seen a good Spagnolo in the first half. Second half, a little bit better, but yeah, that run was fantastic. Then they scored from that try. So from 22, they arrived in the other side and they scored. But still, Spagnolo was a little bit crooked. He stays on the ground a few times, maybe some issues, maybe just an eagle, but who knows? In all of this, we have a couple of players that really shine. And if I have to tell you about carries, offload for the first round and carries, we have Seb Negri, co-captain, 20 successful carries, the best in the URC. And on the other
Expect nothing
side,
less,
the 20 carries, 20 effective carries from him. And Matt Gallagher with 4 offload, probably one of the best player in the team. And talking about offload, something interesting is that both team, even Zebre, but Benetton, has an average last season of 5 offload per game, 5.3, and they under that trained wet ball and everything, 14 offloads, which is wild if we think about the numbers there.
I wonder how much of that is impetus from Quesada and how he wants to play and how he sees
Wilkins, of course, the new attacking coach.
Wilkins. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because had you not told me the stats that Benetton had actually offloaded more, objectively, I thought Zebre were offloading so much, like especially the first sort of 20 minutes. Anytime they went into contact, they were looking for the offload. Like it's interesting to see that we're starting to develop that game, which is more like renowned by the French teams, like the French national team. The French teams love offloading into contact. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if we're going to look to develop like a similar sort of, like an attacking style where, they commit tacklers and then the offloads find the space and 2 or 3 offloads and you unlock a defense. I love that type of rugby. It's so exciting. So yeah, all for it.
Was a 2 phases game for Lamaro for me, because I think maybe if we look back at the first try scored by Benetton, is the one that goes down, move the ball, offloading from the ground and create the space then for Benetton to score. But then that yellow card. I love the way he spoke to the ref. No matter what, he was really calling the situation. Let's talk about Seb Negri tackle at the shoulder. I don't know why that is so different from Fekitoa, to be honest, because Seb was at that height, it stays on that height, even tackle. So Carty wasn't ready to tackle. Like it was like Fekitoa. Then on Fekitoa looks much worse, but was the same principle for me. So that was surprising, but still. Let's see.
I've got to be honest, right? One thing that disappointed me in all that is the angle that shows the head contact wasn't shown. It's the reverse angle where it's over the top. You can see it. Carty's. It's just basically just behind the upright. Carty is there. Seb's running, and you just see shoulder straight to the face. They checked every single angle bar the one that you saw in real time, and Otto will vouch. I said in the chat, head contact in Seb Negri. He had Seb Negri. Fekitoa phase earlier as well had head contact after coming back on the pitch.
Exactly.
Not as bad as Seb's, right? Say 2 in. They could have checked both, but what they checked instead was whether the ball was out of touch and then gave it as a line out. That's what they chose to check. But hey, listen, this is a game we love, right?
And despite this, they had 2 great opportunities to score with Ratave at the beginning in the first half, second half too. So he almost gets not meters, less than meters, inches away from scoring both times. But I think he's gonna remember those moments and he's gonna score, or he's gonna pass the ball next time. But not in what I want to repeat remind everyone, we are not in a panic situation. We are not in that situation where, oh my God, what are we going to do this year? No, it's growing. The team needs to. We've seen in the first half, there was one possession where Werchon, the scrum half, opened to Snyman on the blind side with Snyman alone. That was one probably of the biggest mistake of him, but you need time just to set with the team and see. And then, of course, a couple of lineouts were key in the first half, where they were able to attack, but they were able to jump and steal the ball there. So not much a problem of throwing with Mile, because it was a good, but they jumped well. The second half is different with Asiata, 2 long balls when they should be steady and firm down there. But we moved from this, Mike.
Yeah, lessons learned, Otto. I think, like you said, it's the first game of the season. What would have been a nice result is that, there's no injuries or anything. Obviously, we need to see what comes out with Nemer from the medical bulletin when they release that. Hoping it's nothing serious, although it did look bad. Listen, Spaniolo hopefully is fit. We take what we get and we move on, like you said, Otto.
We've seen Ferrari moving on that side when then Spaniolo left, but do you think it's going to be more Aminu time, or it's going to be more Teda Chaparro moving there?
I honestly, I'll tell you what I'd like to see, and then I'll tell you what I expect to see. I'd like to see them starting to use Amino for the reason that he's going to have to get game time sooner or later, and when better at the start of the season, so that he can start becoming more accustomed to the players that he's going to be playing with during the autumn, assuming he's going to be playing during like the breaks during the Six Nations, because obviously players are going to be called up. You expect Spaniolo to be called up. If not now, when not? And I think now is a good time for him to integrate. But I think they're probably going to have Titas join in, and then have Ferrari potentially at loosehead. But again, what I'd like to see is Amino getting some game time.
Okay, it's destiny time.
Yeah, it is his destiny. Yeah,
it's destiny time there. Mike, other thoughts about other takes from this game? Think about also next game is going to be Glasgow Warriors. So you think there's going to be some adjustment? There's going to be Rhino Smith coming in. You think they're going to stick with Ratave Lainag, Feghi Dominoncello, or there's going to be some changes there? In all of this, Josh Fluke is being called up for the last game, so he's training with Australia at the moment. So it's not going to be one. It's one of those centers that is not there. So I'm wondering if it's going to be something with Marin coming at 12, honestly, or something different there. But you think there's going to be some changes?
I think I honestly I'm not 100% sure how it works with a 20-minute red card, whether they still get stood down in terms of a ban. But if that is the case, I expect, like you said, assuming Marin is fit, he's potentially someone that can slot in. I'm not 100% Otto, but if it's not, I'd probably expect them to stick with Bekatoa and Menoncello. Obviously, they're seeing something different at training potentially than what that partnership has shown on the pitch. So we have to give them time to express themselves on the pitch. Obviously, it's the first game, like you said, plenty of time for them to develop more of a partnership. But there's also the option, if he is banned, that they go Marin Menoncello, which I would quite like to see, to be honest.
Marincello,
yeah. And then maybe Zen Andrea on the bench, or maybe even we keep talking about it, we haven't seen it yet. Put a Dogwu at 13, let the man cook. Let's see how he gets on.
That is the other thing I was going to ask you. If you think is Odogwu as a 13, maybe crash ball 12 out of line out, and then at 13 during the games. I don't know. I see Odogwu more as a 13 than a 12, but I can see him playing like are carrier for, out of the line out or out of the scrum.
Otto, imagine having a dual threat, like running threat. I know Odogwu doesn't distribute. It's nice to see Menoncello actually distribute, and actually I didn't see him make too many handling errors, like forward passes and stuff like we've seen. So it looks like that is something that he's been focusing on. Like we said, like end of last year, beginning of last year, 2 years ago. We've been saying it for years, but it looks like now that Brex has moved on, he's taken the responsibility of being that distributor that he hasn't really necessarily forced himself to learn, which is cool. So yeah, interesting.
Hopefully there's gonna be a lot of fans at the stadium because it's the first home game for Treviso, and they need a really hot, spicy fans talking there. We need Il Tifo really loud in this game because we know what happened usually in the games with Glasgow. Is at the beginning, but they already won one game. So let's see how it goes, and let's see when the team sheet will be out, if something is changing or not. If you're gonna see more Italians or not in this, but for now. Last question is about the new players, Werchon, Asiata, and Faso. I love the C factor of Faso during this game. First game, if there was any issues, any scuffle around, he was there, and I love it, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, listen, the game broke out a little bit, and I think we're gonna be respectful. We're not going to talk about decisions or not, but I do feel like both sides were very frustrated, and rightfully so. Both sides, again, I emphasize both sides. So we saw like that frustration spill out in certain areas of the field, people taking maybe their own hands, being maybe taking stuff into their own hands a little bit just to try and sort of, but the honest answer is I love that. Yeah, I love a bit of niggle. I love the fact that these players are happy to stand up for one another, even if they're in the wrong. There was occasions where they were standing up, they're there for each other. And if they're willing to fight for each other, then they're willing to go far. And that's the most important thing. So I think you can only put your hands up and say, well done to the coaching staff making that environment where they've got an environment where they want to fight for one another. They want to be that.
Elmo is asking from the chat. We are, of course, on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Help us growing. How do you like Garbisino? Cannone Lorenzo made a great impact in his opinion. So Garbisino, well done. A couple of really good kicks, and then, of course, he scored. This was the week where a lot of picking up from the nines around the rack, the winger. Let's talk about also Rugby Championship. They score a lot of tries in this way, Mike, this week. Seems like everyone, let's do it in that way. More than cross kicks, let's attack around the fringes.
Yeah, I think as well, like, Connacht pulled out some big boys as well. So if you've got agility and speed, like that's the only, you play to your advantage, right? So it's one of those where we probably want to try and leverage those. But yeah, man, it's one of those that we should probably talk about. The progress of the scrum half, not only in regards to Benetton, but the Italian scrum half and how much it's going to be a headache. We spoke about Varney very briefly at the start. Like, this is some competitive like headache for Quesada. If he goes and watches the highlights of Stephen Varney, which if you guys haven't done, do. He's been playing his best rugby. We've got Garbisino, obviously, little moments of magic. We've had full score, strong in D, and little moments of magic. Like, this is what we wanted. This is what we've asked for as Italian fans for.
Exactly. Pagerello scoring this week, being thanks to the injury of Luku, is there. He's doing his job. Fantastic. So let's move from this team. And we're gonna move thanks to the hook of Lorenzo, because who do you pick? in the quads battle between Odogu and Momo Asamaik. I think still Odogu is the best quads. Like we have big biceps going around, Ribaldi, Odiase. We used to have Lazzaroni, big arms, but Odogu, I think, quads battle is the guy.
I'm also going to raise one more here, and guys in the chat, please comment, right? I agree. Have you seen how much steak Nekulai's been eating lately? he came on, and if you watch his first scrum, rolls up his shorts all the way to show that he's been eating plenty of beef. Says mate, his quads, like obviously he's probably cursed or blessed depending on whatever his missus thinks in terms of his ass, but like those quads, bro, like that he looked like someone at Jurassic Park. He's just...
So of course this was the hook by Lorenzo asking. I'm stick with him, but let's take a look at the quads of Nekulai. Let's move to Zebre Parma. Of course. Okay, let's go on the good side of this
1970s porn music.
Yeah, I'm gonna put only mustache next time.
Hey, it needs to happen. It needs to happen.
Let's go. Yes, a little bit of groove. Okay, this is the first talk about Nikolai. But let's get into this game. Mike, we've seen Zebre struggling the first minutes of the games so many times last season. So many tries from the opponent team, and this game, 3 tries in the first half, strong, and then stick together, and they were able to bring the game home with Roger Farias kick on the post, with a lot of blessings coming from everywhere there. And so Zebre won the first game against Edinburgh. Go ahead.
What can we say, boys? We've been saying it. We said it last season. You saw it at the back end of last season. Things are changing with Zebre. Like, they're moving in the right direction. We're now in a position where we're starting to see the Brunello effect. We're starting to see all of the changes. Dave Ceci work at the line out can't be understated. They're brilliant at the line out. Otto offloading well to hand, ambitious, playing heads up, fighting for each other. Otto, for me, I think this is, a good start. There's plenty to work on. I'm not going to say like it's, the same way there's no panic for Benetton. I don't think we can get too excited yet because there's plenty to work on. Tackles, obviously, players getting a bit overexcited, making mistakes with the red card and the yellow card. Take that out. Exceptional play. They were very and also just expansive, attractive rugby. Pani with his absolute cannon of a boot back, just booming kicks, just knock it off.
Those are key. In the same way, did really well Gallagher for Benetton, Pani, bomb. It's so important because you can gain so many meters more in that way. And it was the first game after 400 plus days. And it was nice to see, because we were worried about, okay, we know Pani is the guy that is going to cover Prisciantelli, is going to be where Prisciantelli was last season. But is, like Lorenzo saying in the chat, I'm going to just read it and highlight it. Pani is playing a really important part in this. Yes, absolutely. And they look really strong and fit, all the team, really connected for me. And we were so close to see a classic Zebre situation where at the end they lose the game, but they won it. They won it through a scrum with Nikolai pushing. I mean, that is the other thing, how good they were, the finishers in this game. They found a way to shine, but also the players in the field, like Ruggeri, that we never spoke a lot about him because we have other preference, not a lot of preference more, but usually there are more youngsters that we want to to see more and more. He did a really good job there. Di Bartolomeo, man, we are 91%. He lost 2 lineouts. He threw 20 lineouts in this game. So 91%. But Treviso was 83% this week. So all good. They offload 13 times this week, which is still a lot. But they found a way. They are trying something different. One of the best players defensive-wise was Bertaccini with 3 turnovers won in the top 5 of the URC this season for now. And that also is important, a player that we know it's good. We've seen shining a couple of times, but wasn't there. Locatelli coming. I mean, revenge, revenge round 1 done into the Lions. Joshua has his death note over there, signing, checking teams, and of course Stabile. I don't know many players he was able to dribble around. He escaped from so many defenders in a couple of situations. Even after the one with the kick was really fantastic. And then I was almost thinking when I saw the first time the video, I said, "Come on, kick again." Because so you're going to have legs to go. But then the rebounds was fantastic to go in his hands. And he almost scored in that broken field situation. So really good stuff from them, Mike. If we think about a full Italian coaching staff too, because you said the Brunello effect, but now we have also Gibo, the former Viadana coach. He came into the team. I see a lot of good stuff together. Now we need to keep pushing, right? Because they're fighting. There are a lot of Instagram posts from the URC. We talk about the family, and we fight in that way, and seems like that. And of course, I have to say, Pidinar is still pivotal in this scrum, also with the scoring.
Yeah, Ottola, 100%. I do want to quickly just travel back to Pani very quickly.
Yes.
Because what Lorenzo said, for those of you guys who didn't watch the game or don't quite understand why we're so impressed with the boot, think how many phases and how much time ball in hand it takes to break 30 yards, 40 yards. He was chucking, with some penalties, 60, 70-yard kicks. Like, that's sometimes 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes of possession with risk that you're going to lose the ball. Being able to kick some 50-22 opportunities as well, and forcing them to, kick badly back because of good kick chase from Jerzy and Bertaccini and like all of the other wingers. That say making a 30-yard gain from kicking again is like, potentially 2 or 3 minutes of just, trying to break down the wall. That is what Zebre have missed. They missed Pani because he was getting them to play in the right places, and that's where the USP comes from. So just in terms of like how integral he is, and Trulla's obviously got a lovely cultured foot as well, but Pani's just got that cannon, and that's something that they've missed. I think that's really important. Back to your point, Sotto, Stabile. Like we could name anyone. We could throw a stick in a barrel and come up with a name immediately. There's so many for us to pick out of, and it would be like perfect. I think from my side, Stabile Standout, like you said, Di Bartolomeo Standout, Hasa had a good game. Like there's so much to be happy and proud of from this young Zebre team, and I want to emphasize young. This is now some of the 3rd or 4th seasons for these young players.
That's the point. It seems like a team that really reached the point when they can show off finally, because they had to eat so much shit in the last 4 years ago, and then you can see growing the team, and that is probably the most exciting part about. You see a group of players, the same players, because Pani was almost always there, Jesse there, and then you get Krumov, you get the forwards. Pick whoever you want. Mazza, a Parma guy, playing so well. So there is a lot. And here we go with a new question. Who you think will replace Licata next week at number 8, Mike?
It has to be someone who can jump, really, because Licata's a line option as well. So Ortombina didn't do much wrong, if we want to give him credit. Like, his opening game came on unexpectedly, not warm, due to a red card. Like, lots of stuff going against him, and he had quite a mature game. I thought he was stable, is what they needed at the time.
You think at number 8? Ortombina?
No, I think what we probably see is him at 6, Stavile 7, and then it's I mean,
Mike.
It's got to be Odiase. Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah. Odiase probably is one of those players that is craving to play, and of course he wants to show his best in the URC after playing for Oyonnax last year. Odiase. Everybody wants Odiase. Let's see. Maybe it's gonna be Odiase. Maybe it's gonna be some. Sometimes I think maybe even Bianchi.
Also, I think there's space for Ferrari maybe at 8. I like Ferrari at 8 as well. Like, I like him at 8. I know, like, he's been playing more at like 6, and you and I have been saying we'd like to see him at lock. I like him at 8 as well. I think there's an option there as well, and it'd be nice, the two ex-captains, because Ferrari was Odiase's captain, then Odiase became captain. Them two fighting it out, I love that. The fact that they're both, captains, they both got that experience. I love it.
So Zebre Lions, another really interesting match to show. But also, just to try to answer Josh, you think is Ruggeri goes out in this rotation?
It's harsh. He had a good game. That's the thing. Like, when players have played well, it's tough. Like, it's tough. Like, players should be rewarded for playing well, because then they create form. The problem that we have here is that we have players with massive potential just sat either not playing or on the bench with limited game time. So it depends. And to answer your question, I've gone roundabout, but to answer your question, depending on how fit he is, depending on whether he got any niggles or injuries, I think it's an open conversation to see if Odiase might be someone that they want to take. So yeah, I think it could be fun, and I wouldn't be mad if Ruggeri got picked. That's the problem. Like, it's one of those where he's playing well, reward him,
But they are all so close, which is good, because you see the level goes up, and they're fighting for that position without a drop of performance, maybe, between all of them, which is probably what we need to see in this Zebre team, keeping the stake up. Staying up.
The standards need to be like high. They need to drive. They need to try and compete with one another. They need to try and like take each other's position, but they also need to improve one another. And that's where I think what we're starting to see with Zebre over the past 2 or 3 seasons.
And of course, another message from a Zebre fan, jersey buyer number 1 for Zebre in the whole world. Ruggeri didn't put a foot wrong, so could very well stay in the 15. Of course, yes. It can be something more and more to see this positive competition in the team to drive standards up. And of course, guys, please go listen the good chat with Dave Sisi we had early August, because he can show you a picture of Zebre that you need to understand and also the previous one with Dave, actually, to understand really well what's around Zebre at the moment. Think about Lions. Home again. Hopefully more people at the stadium too, because they need more people at the stadium. They deserve more people at the stadium. Yeah. But have you seen, they already start with Vincere il Derby on the Est 155. They're already starting about that.
Already.
2 months away in September. They're already starting to think more and more forward, which is wild for me, but positive for them. They feel it.
I've got a question for you, Otto.
Bye.
So, based only on like the first, the opener, like, and what we've seen and where you think the teams are at, where do you think now the teams are trending to be in terms of like position wise at the end of the season? Do you think Zebre can keep it up? You think Benetton will improve? Like, where do you think they are based on what we've seen so far?
Benetton will improve no matter what, but I think they will improve. It's going to be interesting to understand once they're not going to have those Reds players in, how they're going to manage for the rest of the season, the players. I want to understand more what's going to happen with Albornoz, as we said last week. Now he's injured too. Both people, two players dropped by the Pumas team. One is for the concussion, really bad look like, but then Conte said it's not that bad. Was Garcia, and some muscular issues for Albornoz, so he's out. So I want to understand what is going to happen with Albornoz, because a strong Benetton pass through Albornoz too. We cannot say no. It's not. No, it's really good when he's on form. When he wants to, he can change a game, and that is probably key in some tight games they're gonna have during the year. On the other side, of course, it's not a gap season. I don't think it's a gap season for Benetton, because they still have quality, a lot of quality. We want to see more youngsters, but they can improve, and they have to fight to be in the first top 8. Zebre can be a big surprise at the end of the season if they keep this performance. I mean, an 8th position at the end of the season is not that wild, but we need consistency, because we need more than 5 wins like last year.
Right, and here's the question I'm going to ask you then. I agree with everything you said, Otto. Edinburgh, for the people who are Scottish fans listening, where do you think they're at? Where do you think they're going to be? Do you think Zebre can do that against? Do you think Zebre will do that against teams like Munster, like they did last year? Do you think we can see that again? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, they are locked some fears to win away, and that is a big thing. I think the big focus for Zebre should be more than Challenge Cup URC. I think the Challenge Cup you can experiment, you can do something a little bit different, but I think you should focus on more on the URC. On the other side, I expect Benetton to play well and to go to the playoff. But hey, if they have another great season, they arrive to the semi-final. And maybe, hopefully, it's not going to be against Gloucester again, because if not, I'm going to be broken in 2 pieces like last week for the Sale Sharks Gloucester game. But man, they can. Zebre can do it, but they should focus on one thing really well. Rotation, kind of like the French team do. Same way. Bring in, no matter what results, I don't care. We're trying to find our path, because the main stage, personally for me, Zebre now, this season is going to be URC. More than
Agree. And I think, like you said, Otto, opportunity to give some players some minutes in their legs, try some new combinations, and respectfully, right? Because people disrespect Zebre have such young players, right, that they don't quite know what the best combinations are. And I think there's lots of youth players that have come through that we still need to see with high potential. Faisal as an example as well. Belloni had like his game time today. He had a good game, yeah. Like, especially one thing that I really liked from him is how hard he chased the kicks, because you don't see young players do that. That's normally something that, anyway, at least in the UK, that's something that exciting players need to be taught. But he actually just, like,
for me, that is the fullback experience from him. We know he can play also wing, but he play a lot fullback, so he can be that guy that jump up, kind of like you see a Gallagher, the way he kick the ball and go. Let's go.
Yes.
Lineag, because he always did it since he was a young player. Same stuff. So, and also, Mike, I put there also other players that maybe they are around the Zebre area that can be helpful during the week. Like maybe we saw Pippo Drago maybe can be useful for Benetton on one side. On the other side, maybe an Aramis Corona can be really interesting to watch more and more of this young winger from Colorno. One player. Of course, we have Faisal. Faisal, for me, if he start couple of Challenge Cup games, I'm happy with it. And it's important the rotation because they don't have so many players. Like if we think about the props, we saw the preview of the season. We saw the players. They didn't have so many slots. But there you have to work on in a way that everybody's gonna get fit, because for the first game, as Lorenzo said, they were able to, no matter what, in 14 for half hour, they were running, tackling, and they were positive in what they were doing. So yes, of course, we need more of that. Question, Mike, what do you think about the 20 minutes yellow red card?
Yeah, listen, like is for me 100% right decision. No
Okay.
malice. He didn't go.
No,
in
in
with
general,
intention.
also, if you want to. Yeah.
In general, I thought you meant Licata. To be honest with you, mate,
Do you
not-
like the idea to add a player back in the field and a 15?
Yes and no. Like, yes, if it's genuinely like a mistake, but because it's up to the TMO, and sometimes it might not necessarily be a mistake, but because the player might have stepped or something. Like some people are going with the intention of hurting a player, right? Like I don't care what people say. Oh, no one does that. Some players do. Some players go in with the intention of hurting a player, right? Not necessarily illegally, but now there's more grey area where if they were to try and do that on purpose, and someone like accidentally, from one of your teammates accidentally touched a player, your second tackler, and that mitigates it down to the 20-minute red. Like people say, oh, it doesn't account for dangerous foul play. Well, it's an opinion now. Dangerous foul play is an opinion. It's not. When it is Otto. When it was head contact, direct head, like it was fine. But now it's an opinion. So we wanted less of that in the game, not more. That's just my opinion on it. But in terms of ruining the spectacle, I like the fact that it gives the team a chance. Love that.
Okay.
Love that.
Mike, it's time for me to have my 2 minutes rant about Gloucester. Can I?
Of course. Go. Otto Gloucester time.
So, Gloucester we lose the first game against who? Against Bortolami, against our former captain. So bad, Mike, in the way we ended up losing in that way. I think the bench, sail shirt bench, worked really well in the second half, much more than ours. We lack the strong carries of Atkinson and Cleverclean in the middle. They were not that good. Even if we found the space and everything, I don't understand why Thomas Williams came out so early. And also, the first try wasn't a try; it was a knock-on. It was a good tackle. And but anyway, two good things from Bortolami, because we have to say that. It was so interesting to see this kick, even from set piece, line out, kick behind, bombs behind, instead of going deep, going cross field. They were crossing to go on the blind, pushing there, and Gas War, I think 4 kicks retained this season. I hate Gas War so much, but it was so effective in this game. He scored a try that wasn't a try because they disallowed the try. But still, really good start from Bortolami. We have a lot to work, but really good impact from Venter as a first game. We have young players without Jamal Ford, Robinson, and Rabava Raskin, but we blowed some players at the beginning. So a lot to do, but we are trying to play from far away. I saw something so different this year, like so deep, so wide. We try to attack from everywhere, literally, and that's something pretty new, something pretty close to what Benetton did in the first half. They were trying to play multi-phase in their 22, something that with Bortolami and Troncon, whoever, we didn't see that. And that was interesting. Then they didn't have the opportunity to gain advantage line, to put situation where they can counter-attack from far away, but it's something to think about. Anyway, good for Bortolami, for them. See you next.
Hey, what one thing I'll say is, because obviously you and I were watching the game at the same time, Bortolami is blessed with fantastic centres. Marty White is he's going to be a world beater,
it's old, but it's
yeah,
so
I
young.
know, yeah. Was it Mako Vinopola always looked like he was 40? Age 18, he was always 40.
It's the new Marco Bonipola, yes.
Yeah, man, he's good. He's so good. Like that
Then
Marcel
with
White.
the 13 playmaker with a kick, which is the Rob Dupress, and
Right.
they got Marius Lowe, the big
Yeah.
center from Lions, former Lions
Yeah.
player. So it's going to be interesting how they're going to switch it up and play during this game. But good for him, good for the team, pretty good, good. Bamber did a really good job.
Yeah.
They didn't have Konandiki, for example, in the team, the second carry. First dish arrived, the second one not.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I watched the just very quickly on the Prem. I watched the Saracens Newcastle game, and it was nice to see Marcone like do his job. Like it was nice to see him back on the pitch. But Newcastle have the ex Japanese number 8. I think he's Tongan descent.
Tafu, the one from former Bordeaux. Tafu? Oh my god.
Is it
I'm
Tafu?
going to check now.
I think it's Maffy, but I'm not sure. Maffy, I think. I'm not sure. But anyway, my God, him and Tom Willis, like they were like an immovable object and an unstoppable force. Otto. It was just like sparks were flying every time they were making a tackle. Oh man, it was
Amanaki Mafi. No,
mate,
Tafu.
he
Amanaki
was
Mafi.
so good. He was
35.
so good. I know. I had to check. I'm jealous that he's. I would have him at Zebre. I'd have him at Benetton in a heartbeat. He was so impressive, so impressive. Like if you haven't watched him, go watch him. He was so good.
I will probably rewatch Northampton Exeter tonight.
Yeah, I need to do the same.
Game to watch. Oh, there is Lazio playing tonight for soccer stuff. So just to no, come on, mamma mia! What situation? No player, no nothing. But let's leave the soccer on one side, the calcio on one side. Who's Bortolami going to sign from Italy next summer? You remember they have a really low budget, Mike. How much was 25p?
Yeah. Well, if it's going to be, he could probably buy a couple of Italians and still have enough for Fredo. So let's work it out. But I think if I was me and if I was Bortolami and I'm looking at players that I've potentially coached, I'd look. They don't have many like weaknesses. They've got a world-class 10. They've got a decent 9. Rafi Quirk, when he's back, is potentially world-class. Like potentially a winger. Like it's tough because Sale aren't a bad team. Like if you're going to bring someone, it has to be someone who's going to add to the team, and he can't afford Menoncello.
They can't, or they can.
I don't think they can. No, I don't think they can. I think there's a reason, Otto, why the two most struggling teams, no offense to Gloucester, in terms of money, opened the Premiership on a Thursday away from the World Cup because they need the money. So they did it on the Thursday away from the World Cup final because they need the money. Like, I don't think they can afford it. Yeah, that's just an observation. Listen, I'm no authority. Like, I'm guessing, but it makes sense to me commercially. That's why they did it.
Good. Then, Mike, Rugby Championship, fantastic. Let's see next week, and then we're going to review a little bit of that. It's going to be so interesting. Sasha Feinberg, Gomenzulu, another planet in this game. another planet, but we knew that. But
What about Colby? Was he on another planet when he kicked that ball?
yes, with the smell of a brain farts. That was my God, man. My God.
Have you ever seen anything like it? Anyway, we'll leave it at that.
Oh, it's
We'll leave it at
fantastic. I'm waiting to get the footage from the other cameras, the analyst cameras, so I can see really well that moment. From the like what happened? How did it happen?
Carrera's celebration was like the best. It was like he's done something unreal.
It happened, but still. So good team for the former schoolmate, teammate of Ross Vincent, because they were at the same school together.
Yeah,
Vincent and Gomezzolo, two wild animals in the.
Some cool pictures there as well.
My God, man. So, Mike, I think that's it for today. Thank you to stay with me from the office for tonight. And of course, next week we're gonna be much more calm down. But tomorrow I'm gonna go watch basketball, EuroLeague. Tomorrow I'm gonna go watch something different.
Who do you think's gonna win?
Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna go watch Hapoel Tel Aviv, Barcelona, and of course I'm gonna support Barcelona because Gregor Fuchka, all my famous Fortitudo players when I was young and supporting Bologna Fortitudo. So I'm gonna go watch that and let's see. But the first time that I'm going to watch a basketball game, because Hapoel Tel Aviv now is playing in Sofia this season. So
nice.
So
an excuse to go out.
Yeah, I'm gonna see at 7 p.m. tomorrow. So
enjoy, my friend.
Let's see, guys. Thank you to be with us tonight too on a Monday night. You are able to watch this, and of course you can listen us on Spotify. But also thank you, Josh Lorenzo Elmo, that spoke a lot in this chat. So let's go read back the chat when you want, guys, because it's always something more from everyone here. It's always everyone, Mike. Each of our listeners always adds something in the discussion, which is fantastic. I think.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate the company.
So, guys, see you next week with another episode of Fratelli Rugby podcast. Of course, check our Instagram, our X, because we're gonna put all new stuff out. Mike, ciao, buonanotte, buona serata a tutti. Ciao. Olè.